That is the biggest thing I feel like for Amazon, or at least the first or second thing. Like if you do not. What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be talking about the top 7 mistakes that I see sellers doing and mistakes that I've done in the past. And I don't want you guys to do any of these things. And by me telling you guys this, you should be able to avoid making these mistakes, as well as saving a whole bunch of money and time spent trying to get these products together and trying to sell them. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is patented items. So patented products, that's the very first thing that you need to figure out. Now, a lot of people, when they go on Amazon or they use the web app, or when they're doing product research, they think they find this golden product that's doing $20,000 or $30,000 a month just with a couple of reviews. Now, I'm not saying you're not going to be able to find a product like that, but if you see a whole bunch of people on the first page with that low reviews and have that high revenue, most likely it is patented. So make sure, no matter what product that you are doing, make sure you are looking at it as patented. Go on Google Patents, or even get a professional to do it. Now you can do this on Fiverr for just $5 to ask a professional to see if it's actually patented or not. But do your research first, find out, because that is your first step in order to give you the green light of whether or not you should jump onto a product. So going on to the next thing is, a product is too competitive or it is very saturated. So the difference between competitive and saturated, saturated just means there's a whole bunch of sellers that are trying to sell the product. Competitive, it kind of means the same thing, in addition to people with a whole bunch of reviews, like hundreds or even thousands of reviews on the first page. That is competitive. Usually with products that are saturated, it's a little bit more harder to rank on the first page. Like for the last product that I did, there was tons and tons of sellers that are trying to list this item, and tons of people that are trying to sell it. And that's probably mainly because they were trying to use the web app, the Jungle Scout web app, in order to find these products. So that's why I show on my channel how to find products and do product research without using these methods that everyone else is using, so people don't find the exact same product and markets don't get saturated. But saturation comes in its different, in its different, variations. So if there's 100 people trying to sell the same exact item, then that's probably an issue. If there's only 10 to 20 people selling the exact same item, then that's not that many at all. You'll literally be able to outrank them when you do decide to do your product launches. Now, when it comes to competition, having a decent amount of competition is good. It really just depends and varies on the reviews and stuff. So if you have like 100 reviews, if everybody on the first page has 100 reviews at least, then that's a problem. Because in order for you to rank, you need to be able to compete with those reviews and basically differentiate yourself and be the outlier compared to everybody else. So it really just varies on competition. Now, of course, if everyone on the first page has below 100 reviews, or the first top 10 listings maybe has a big guy that has 500 reviews, but everyone below that has anywhere from 10 to maybe 50 reviews or so, then that's a product that's probably not that competitive. But you just have to, of course, it's not as black and white as that. So you just have to do a little bit more product research and just figure it out for yourself. So going on to the next thing is something that I did, and it was very, very stupid, because it literally prohibited me from even making any type of money on my product, which was not even doing a product launch. So a lot of people that get onto Amazon, I feel like, I'm not really sure if this is a common thing now, but I feel like it really was like a year or so ago, is when you launch when you list up a product on Amazon, people just expect it to sell no matter what. What you guys need to understand is that when you sell your Amazon product, or when you create your listing, it's literally going to be on the last page. How Amazon works is they rank your product on different pages depending on your sales velocity, or how many sales you get on a daily basis. So if you want to be on the first page, at the top, and the first person is doing 20 sales a day, you need to match that, or even do better than that in organic full price sales, in order to rank with them, in order to be on that first page. So you guys have to keep that in mind. So that's why you guys need to do these product launches. That's why there is a whole big thing about it. That's why there's services out there. That's why there's things that you guys need to use, like rebate key, Page Oneify, all these different services you guys should use in order to rank your product. Now, of course, different launch services don't work as well as they used to because Amazon did change the algorithm. So a discounted product, so let's say 90% off or so, that doesn't count as a full price organic sale. So it probably counts as probably 1/5 to 1/7 of the full price organic sale. So you just have to keep that in mind, guys. That's why you want to be using Page Oneify or Rebate Key or some other way to rank organically for full price sales. So make sure you guys are launching your product, and you can figure out how many units you would have to give away. Just look at your top competitor or ask a professional, go on Jungle Scout, or ask somebody on some other product launch software. They'll be able to help you out and tell you exactly what you guys need to do. But you definitely have to outrank the top seller by selling more units than they do each day, and that is the best way that you guys can do this. So going on to the next thing is not even differentiating. So number 4, that is the biggest thing I feel like for Amazon, or at least the first or second thing. Like if you do not differentiate, you are not going to sell. It's as simple as that. There's so many people that jump on these markets like, hey, it's okay if there's anywhere from 10 to 20 sellers, that's fine. But everyone's trying to throw on this, they try to sell the exact same product, and you don't want to be that 99% that does that same exact thing. You're not going to get anywhere with that. You may maybe sell a couple thousand or so, but that's it. There's going to be people that come onto the market that actually differentiate and actually stick there and are going to be able to make enough full-time income because they're simply just differentiating your product. They're making it stand out, and when customers see this, especially if you differentiate it in a way where you bundle in a item that most customers buy with that, then you're going to be able to really just kill it in the game because you stand out so much, and your bundle is basically a convenience to the customers. So just keep that in mind, guys. Make sure you are differentiating no matter what you do, whether it's an ebook or a bundled item. It doesn't have to be an expensive item. Just don't want to bundle or something on there that's related to it. So maybe we're selling I don't know, some type of people talk about the barbecue gloves all the time, like Dan Boss or them and Tanner J. Fox. I think they talk about that, the little barbecue gloves. You can, let's say you're trying to sell that product, right? You want to find something that you want to bundle onto it. Now, I'm not saying you should sell it because it is really competitive, but let's say you wanted to sell that. You could sell the barbecue gloves and have, I don't know, some type of grill brush or something that's related to that item. Or you can go on people's listings that are selling really well, scroll all the way to the bottom and find out what customers are buying in addition with that product. It's a very good method. It's a very, very helpful method that you guys should be using in order to stand out from everyone else, and it will save you like crazy, guys. You do not want to be launching a product that looks like everyone else's, because all you're going to do is fall off the page. And the number one question that you want to be asking yourself when you are deciding on whether or not you should jump on a product is, why would people buy my product over everyone else's? And you just have to figure out what way you're going to make yourself stand out. So keep that in mind, guys. So let's go on to the 5th thing, which is not private labeling at all. So private labeling, if you guys don't know, you can jump on Amazon FBA regardless of whether you do private labeling or not. Private labeling is when you put your logo onto a product. It's your own brand and everything. It's very simple to do. You create your own logo, you give it to the supplier, and they will put it on your product. It's as simple as that. But a lot of people, what they do is, especially if they don't have enough budget starting off, throwing your logo onto a product. Usually suppliers have like a minimum order quantity to have custom packaging or a custom logo. Usually it's around like 400 to 500 units. But you guys need to do this, because if you throw up a product on Amazon that's just generic and looks more like everybody else's product except a more cheaper version, a more generic product that doesn't even have a brand logo on it or anything, people are not going to buy it. Now, if you're, of course, maybe the second or third person that's selling it, then maybe. But if you have a whole bunch of other people that have branded products, that have logos on their product, customized packaging, then you're probably not going to really stand out, and you really need to stand out from all these other brands out there. Doing private labeling itself is another form of differentiation. Maybe you have some brand over here named I don't know, Tom's Warehouse, and then you have another brand over here named Joel's Warehouse, right? You just want to stand out as your own company, as your own brand on Amazon FBA. You just don't want to be selling generic items, because people just simply are not going to buy that. They're not going to find value in that. When people go on Amazon, they trust it. They want to trust their products. They trust that Prime symbol. It makes people think, oh, this is official. If they see a brand name, they're thinking it's a official product, or it's a good product. That's why we want to do private labeling, and in the future, it's going to help us out a lot, especially if we establish it as a LLC, or create a company out of it, or expand the brand. So going on to the next thing here. Hold on a second. My phone actually closed on me. So going on to the sixth thing, which is not even getting reviews. So this is, I'd say 99% of the time, you're going to need reviews when you launch your product. Anywhere from 5 to 10 reviews. Now, if you have a product that's literally like no competition, maybe a couple sellers, maybe you'll be able to launch with no reviews, but I highly suggest that you get them. They're a form of social proof, and it goes a little bit more on the differentiation side. Because if you think about it, why would you rather buy a product that has no reviews, that has no social proof, that's actually good, or would you rather buy a product that has upwards of 5 to 10 reviews, that has some social proof, that are all 5-star reviews? Like, it's really easy, okay? People are going to buy the product that is that has a lot more reviews compared to something else. Now, of course, don't be scared. Don't be like, oh, well, I'm going up against all these stars that have 20 plus reviews or so, even 100 reviews. That's fine. If you differentiate your product enough, people will still buy your product. That's regardless of that. But one thing that we also want to keep in mind as well is, like, if you have a product out there that is like really competitive, like 1,000 reviews on the first page, or 100. So if you have a product out there that has like hundreds of reviews or 1,000 reviews, just simply in the first 10 listings, then that is a sign to you that you're going to need a little bit more reviews in order to launch your product. So before you guys even think about launching your product, or doing giveaways, or doing PPC, you want to make sure that you have a good amount of reviews before you start. Now there is there's like a little, some type of there's like a what do you call it, analogy that people like to use a lot. I think it was Dan Voss. No, it was Tanner J. Fox, I think. He was like, would you, let's say, you're just some random person on the street that's just driving, and you want to figure out where you should go to eat lunch or dinner, right? And you're seeing all these restaurants. Would you rather go to a restaurant that has, people that are backed up, lined, and there's a whole bunch of people, there's a big line outside the restaurant, or would you rather go somewhere where there's literally no one there? There's no line at all, barely any cars in the parking lot. Like, obviously you'd want to go to the place that has a ton of people there, because that is a form of social proof that it is good, that they provide good products or good services. So that's the same exact thing when it comes to Amazon FBA and selling your own product. So you just have to keep that in mind. That is a very important thing that you guys need to do before you decide to launch or do giveaways or do PPC. So one last thing, number 7, it kind of ties into the launching process and doing giveaways. Make sure you are launching correctly. Do your research. Figure out how many units a day you need to sell organically. The best way that you can do this is literally go on the first page, figure out who the top seller is, find out how many units they are selling organically each day, and basically either match that or go over. I highly suggest that you guys go over it. So if somebody's doing 20 units a day, I'd probably do anywhere from 25 to maybe even 30 units a day for a couple of days, and then see how it goes. So doing giveaways or doing a product launch is a combination of doing the product giveaways, if you want to do that, or doing the full price sales. It just really depends on how competitive your product is, but it's a combination of doing those things with doing PPC, even Facebook ads if you guys have experience or know how to do those. And it's basically doing whatever you can in order to rank with the top competitors for that product. So it's doing all that stuff so that you get the most bang for your buck for whatever you pay for these services. And also If you can do influencer marketing as well, that's going to help you tremendously. That's something that I'm trying to get into, and it's probably the best way to go when you do your product launch, because you're literally not losing any type of money. You're literally just throwing your product up there on some influencer's page, and they're just shouting it out, and you're getting all those sales, full price sales naturally. So that's something that I feel like is very, very useful, especially down in the future when you want to launch other products or simply just want to work with that influencer in general. So with all that being said, guys, make sure you're not doing all these things. Make sure you're watching out for all these things. So probably if you were to take away like 2 things from these 7 mistakes, make sure your product is not patented, and also make sure that you are differentiating. Like, differentiating is probably the most important thing, actually. But also patented products, of course. You don't want to be trying to sell something that's patented, because you can get into legal trouble and your listing probably will just get taken down on Amazon. So we don't want that to happen. So with all that being said, make sure you like down below, make sure you comment and tell me what you guys want to see next, because I have I have a lot of flexibility with my videos and stuff, because I really want to create content that's relatable to you guys. And I do have some templates down in the description below that you guys can be using for talking to suppliers and negotiating with them, and also creating cool product descriptions and using good bullet points and stuff that are related to your product, so you can be really relatable to the customer and really get that sale. So I will see you in the next video. Peace.